I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. Hi there, I'm Doug Johnson, and this is my story. The first night I got there, they took us through this ballroom, and was that a beautiful place? There must have been 1,000 people in there. I happened to be a very close witness to when the Chinese came under different leadership. And in fact, it came on so quick that we had to get out of there right now. And a strange thing happened while I was walking through the ship. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It was pitch dark. And before the communists, while they were taking over, I was alone. They had shut off the power in the country. It was pitch black. That's about the only time I was ever afraid. For that time, what's happening here? How did the world come to an end, or what? But unfortunately, it came on, and I was able to get to the ship, and the next morning we beat it out of China. So that was our end of our Chinese trip. But it was. I wish we could have stayed a little bit longer, because there were so many different countries represented there, languages. Being of Finnish descent myself, I got to know some Chinese film letters, and we had a pretty good time. So there must have been 1,000 people in there dancing in it. People from every country on the globe, I'll tell you, and it was really something to see. And anyway, I bumped into a guy from Finland, and so I'm not a very good. I don't speak the Finnish language very well, but he could speak English very well, so we got along real good. And after, then we came back. Our ship went into dry dock then, and that was the last time I saw our ship. We left there. I left there personally, and my folks were in Detroit, so I got home and we celebrated a little bit. And so I decided to try mining. So I worked for Academy in Hekla. Let's see, what mine did I work in the first one? But anyway, when I got out of the Navy, I went to work for a company in Detroit, and they had me working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I decided I didn't like what I was doing. So I decided to join the Army.
Okay.
And I was, let's see, where was I stationed? But anyway, I had made I get it. Here's how it made me join. I'm also I was a Detroit Tiger fan, and I used to go to the Tiger games. and I'd have to leave the Tiger games before the games were still on to go to work, because otherwise I'd be late for work, and I didn't want that to happen. So that went on for some time, but when I left the Brick Stadium, I'd bump into this Army recruiter every once in a while where my car was parked. And he tried to get me to go in the Army. I said, no. But I thought it over. I couldn't take it anymore. I was overworked. And so this Army, I made a proposition with this Army recruiter. I told him, I said, if you can guarantee that I go to Europe, I'll consider joining the Army. He said, why would you want to do that? I said, well, I'd like to go to Europe. I said, I've been to just about every other part of the world, but I'd like to go to Europe. And my forefathers were from Finland, and I'd like to visit Finland. He said, guaranteed. He said, I'll make it a guarantee that this will happen. So I didn't take any, so I joined the Army. And I was stationed, I was with the Corps of Engineers, and I was stationed at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, which is about 10 miles south of our capital, Washington, D.C. And I was happy there. It was beautiful, and I learned something new every day, and things were going over real good.